You know what I think we need? We actually need a podcast before the podcast that only is behind a paywall. Only exclusive members get to be a part of the podcast before the podcast. The one part we can't record and release to the public.
We go way off the rails, man, before and after. Golly.
Really quick. That had nothing to do about anything, but was funny. Sorry to leave you on the outside of an inside joke, but glad you guys are back here on the Claw Pod. I'm the Ant-Man. They are Ross and Marshall Von Erich, the guys you actually came here to see. I have a question for you. First, did you get invited to Beach Break last week? I know you were on standby. Did you end up going?
Really offended, but no, actually, yeah. They said I make people uncomfortable.
Is that it?
Yeah. It's a broad statement, you know. It could mean anything.
I'm guessing they left a lot of hints along the way, and finally they just didn't.
I like to avoid the hints.
I don't pick up on the hints. That's right. It's got to tell me. I did want to know, like, since you're not actually like, you know, when you're working the indies and things like that, you're kind of out on the road and you're doing, maybe you'll be gone for 2 weeks, maybe longer or whatever. But there's also another side to just being gone a day or two. What's the hardest thing about just going out for 1 day or 2 days and coming back home?
Dude, you know what's crazy? So we thought once we're AEW, like this is great because it's like a regulated system. We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're still doing, we'll do like not so much indie shows like wrestling matches. We'll do like meet and greets and things like that. But it does make it a lot harder to plan because AEW is like first priority.
Sure.
So if we agree to something and AEW calls and says we need you, we say yes to everything that they offer. So it does put us in a weird position. But I like to plan stuff out. I like to know what's going on, and that's why it's been such a test to just keep you on your toes. You never know what's going to happen. But I don't know. Ross keeps me pretty level-headed about it. He kind of prepped me before it came. He's like, remember, it's going to be random. So just be ready. It helps you with life though. Cause you know, as life throws crap at you, nothing more in life can mess with me now that I just AW. So
random. Unexpected, right?
Yeah.
All about.
What about you, Ross? What's the hardest thing just by going out 1 or 2 days?
It's not too bad actually, because you know the indies prepped us pretty good, but you know in the indies sometimes we'd be gone for like if we're gonna leave, we'll do a show and then we'll probably catch like 2 or 3 more indie promotions, you know, before we head back.
Yeah, sure.
So, but yeah, it's nothing, you know, too strange. It's kind of the field we're in, I guess. So.
I like the 2 day. I like going just for 1 or 2 days and then coming straight. Sometimes we like to see like how fast we can get home, and you know, and our quickest one is we had a match during a layover and actually made the flight to get home, and that was the coolest one. It was in Hawaii. We wrestled in Oklahoma. We left. We landed in Oahu for what was like 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, 5 hours.
So, 5 hours.
First match we did the opening match. Yeah,
that was awesome too, because we're never opening match, and so or at least in Hawaii we weren't, and so we were the opening match. Went and they had like the funnest match ever. Didn't call anything, just went out there and just did our thing. But the Hawaii crowd's so hot, so fun.
Yeah,
jumped right back into a car, and then when we were on the plane, right, that just happened. That was crazy. It really was crazy. It was fun.
Was that for Jerry Bostic?
No, that was for AZW in Oahu. But yeah, we're wrestling for Jerry Bostic. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I know that, dude. Jeez.
I don't know Jerry personally. I'm just friends with him on Facebook. But Jim Ross used to talk about Jerry a lot. And, he's right. A few things about him.
Kind of mentored him, I think, for a little while.
Yeah, I think so too. So Jerry, if you happen to come across this podcast, shout out to you. I saw something that they were starting something back up or had a show coming up in Wichita. I think Wichita came.
Yeah, dude, that venue is
that's awesome.
Was it the Cotillion or something?
Cotillion is. I used to live in Wichita, and the Cotillion is a really cool place. Yeah,
dude, it seems like it was made for wrestling. That it's like a miniature, like dome, super dome, or something like that. Yeah.
And if you stand in certain spots in there and yell, it may be where the ring is. But you stand in there and you can hear it echo or hear it like you're louder to you.
Like an amphitheater. Cool. Yeah, it's like perfect. Yeah,
Ross and I like freaking idiots. We're like we're sitting there talking, walking in circles around the building. Yeah. And when you're at certain spots, it's like, oh yeah, it's just crazy.
You can like basically talk with a quiet voice, and it's like
you can hear it
everyone in the whole.
Yeah. But what's funny is there's this hotel that I think it was when we were in Kansas, but this hotel we're staying in. There's like a portico you pull in, and then there's a dome, and Ross and I are walking through it, and all of a sudden our voice is amplified like crazy, but people around you can't hear it. Only you can hear it.
Only you.
And so you look like an idiot. You're like, not. And we're sitting there making dumb sounds.
Slam. Slam.
Yeah, so that's the go-to. Slam.
At the cotillion, you sound like John Cena calling spots in the ring.
Hey, man.
Okay, I guess he's getting ready to close. Oh, look at that! He clotheslined him. Nobody even knew that was coming.
See, I try to
for everybody.
If people pay attention, me and Ross can be guilty of that too. But we feel like since we're a tag team, it's like it helps. Like, dude, give him a clothesline, hit him harder. We're literally telling each other what to do.
You can call spots like that if you're somebody else yelling to your partner. Yeah, that makes sense.
When you're single match, I'm sure it's hard. I'm sure
we do that for each other a lot. Have you noticed that?
Boy, at Backlash, Cena and Orton was pretty comical because it was loud. It was really loud.
Sometimes I feel like they're too professional. They're so experienced and so vetted out that like it almost comes too easy. So I bet they didn't even talk over the match. I bet they just figured it out once they got out there.
Well, what they didn't have figured out that they were calling the ring, we all heard it because
really
John wasn't shy. Yes. Yeah, it became a joke. Yeah.
I wonder. I mean, that is something that I've noticed, though. Anthony, what do you think? So, like, guys that have been wrestling a long time that we're just good at it. Though. I wonder if a sense of complacency comes in eventually when you've been doing that. Not the same match every time, but the same promotion for so long. Yeah. I bet it's hard not to just get too comfortable. I bet John, like John, that's kind of a cardinal rule to call stuff in the match. Who's going to go and correct them? Yeah. Doubt anybody would in the locker room. I guess the fans would. That's the best.
Would they?
Yeah.
When the fans start talking about it, they're hearing it. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What fun. Mark Henry was talking about it on Busted Open the other day. He's like, about John calling spots very loudly. And,
dang, man.
Yeah, and so those guys are kind of calling him out a little bit too, being bully. And I don't know. I remember if Tommy was a part of that conversation or not.
If they're talking about it, you messed up, man.
You messed up.
Yeah, but as big as pro wrestling gets, as far as I guess audio.
I've told you that my only experience in the ring was for one match that I trained for a little bit, and I say a little bit. I think it was about 2 months that I trained for about an 8-minute long match, but it was a 6-man tag, so I wasn't in there for 8 minutes. I was only in there for a few minutes.
Still 2 months, man. Like you can't. How'd you feel? Did you feel confident?
I felt great about the match going into the match. Although I can't remember the guy's last name. I believe his first name was Michael, and he was kind of he kind of called everything for all 6 men. And there was a spot where he tags her. I get tagged in and he's in there. Something that happens. He ends up clotheslining me. Massive guy, probably 6'3", 6'4", something like that. Took really good care of me and through all of the rehearsals, all the practice, all that stuff. And he did tell me that the day of, he goes, "Hey, I just want to give you a heads up. Like, don't be alarmed, but I'm going to kind of lay it in a little more."
I hate when guys tell you that, dude. Just do it. Just do it.
Honestly, I wish he would have, but I don't know. Part of me is glad that he didn't tell me before or that he did tell me before we went out there anyway, because when he hit me, every vertebrae popped in my back. I didn't have a choice about taking a flat back. It was the top of my shoulders.
You're going flat. Yeah.
I did. And he went to one knee all the way through, down to one knee and back up.
Well, was there a reason to lay it in like that? Or
we were all it was me and another guy at the radio station, and we were both very, very respectful. Thanked every person, whether we worked with them or anything. I thanked them all, appreciated what they were doing every day that we got to do one time. So we kind of,
that's awesome.
They were all very, very cool, but I think he just wanted to make, I am not taking it easy on this guy just because he's a radio personality.
Okay.
He's
Oh,
out there
so
doing
it was
things.
known that y'all were radio. Yeah, y'all were radio people. It wasn't like a wrestling gimmick you had.
It was basically two tag teams, and I paired up with the heels, and the other guy paired up with the faces. I ended up turning on the heels and going with the faces at the end. So we were.
That's kind of freaking cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
And I wish I could get the video. If I would, I'll share it with you.
You gotta
please do. Yeah. And honestly, that's how you're really initiated. Like once you when it's your first match, it's to be expected for sure.
Well, something that I noticed that I thought was very interesting and actually scared me in the moment, because we hadn't talked about this, was that how much communication happened with the ref. So face has come out, he comes over to the heels and he looks at me and he goes, tag in and then tag right back out. And I was like, what?
Yeah, the ref didn't know what's going on.
Tag in and go to lock up and back off and come back and tag out. And I was like, okay. So I did it, but I was like, oh crap, what's going to happen? Because if this is changing, what else is going to change?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Anyway, but it was really nice. And there was a spot in that place there that was unrehearsed that we hadn't talked about, that I end up on my back, and that guy Michael was like protecting me, but it looked like he was just got kind of knocked into me, and he just leans down and he goes, I got you covered, roll out. And I go, what? He goes, I have you covered, roll out of the ring. It's like, okay. And when I watched it back, I was like, you can't tell we were talking about anything.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That guy Michael's cool. Was it like a just an independent promotion?
Independent promotion, yeah. New Mid-South Wrestling is what it was back in. My daughter was a baby, so 2003 or 2004, something like that.
I'm glad you experienced that though, because a lot of people will never know that feeling of the sheer panic you get when something changes. You have it planned, you know what you're gonna do, and then all of a sudden. Someone just take something out, or I had the exact same feeling when a referee, because you don't realize how involved the ref really is, but when the referee says something, now I trust the refs, but when the ref says something, like you're all these thoughts. Wait, do you even know what's going on?
Does he know?
Yeah, yeah. This ref just talking crap. What's this ref doing?
Yeah. He tried to sabotage the match. What's going on? But it was very exhilarating though, and I'm talking about this crowd may have been 100, 150 people.
It doesn't matter though. It still feels
it's so good. Yeah.
There really is no feeling like that, especially your first match. But what I'm curious about, because Ross and I got that same kind of treatment. I think it was our second or third match in America. The guy we're wrestling was like, "Oh, by the way, before those chops I hit you with, I'm gonna lay him in. I'm gonna try to take your head off." And when you're, a kid, you're like, wait, what? And that's all we were thinking about for the rest. Like, totally forgot about the rest of the match.
And I was like getting psyched up, and I was like, dude, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna kick his ass, man. If he tries to take advantage of me,
at it.
They're listening to like rock music in the car. Let the bodies hit the floor.
He's laying them in. We gotta get amped up. Yeah.
And all it was a solid chop, and you're like, I was like, wait, what? Oh shoot!
I know.
What was the rest of the match about?
Yeah. You're like all built up. Wired for that, and then something changes.
But that's why I got more respect for Anthony, for the guy to tell him that your first match. Jeez. Yeah,
it was. I mean, even though I told you before, I felt like I'd aged like 40 years. After that match, hips are old now. I can't move my leg. Got a bad knee now. Like, what happened? But it was a good 2 or 3 days later, I was like, I could do this again.
Yeah, man.
I was in my 20s.
Yeah, dude. You know how, Marshall, like if you have a back, like a nagging injury, sometimes you'll like the first couple minutes of a match, you're like, whoa, I think that fixed it, And like your back will pop or something. And then you'll take another bump a minute later, like, okay.
I guess it was.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah. When you think you fixed a problem.
Yep.
That's dad's logic. My dad's always like, he's like, there's like your back's out and knees popped or whatever. You get in the ring and it'll fix you. And he really convinced us that was true, because we had a couple of matches where we're like, well, I think my back feels better. Just hitting the rope. The ropes do hurt so bad. I feel like they need to tell new guys that more. Like the ropes are going to be painful.
Well, let me ask you guys: you've wrestled on both cable and rope?
Yeah.
Do you have a preference? Is a rope better than a cable?
I wanted to say I liked rope more, but honestly, they hurt just as bad. I kind of like I kind of like the cables, but In Japan, it was just a hose on a cable and they would spin. You could like spin them super.
Oh, you could?
Yeah.
So doing a springboard is like, you know how they do the like it's what is that it's like a log that rolls in the water kind of thing.
yeah,
basically like that, standing on the rope. So it's pretty nuts.
You have to, man, like forget logic, and sometimes because you're just like, wait, isn't it gonna spin? But you just can't think about it because if
you can't think about it, yeah.
But they don't. So they don't tape the ends down, each end of it.
In Japan, they didn't.
Not in Japan. Like it was scary. Yeah,
I remember Ross. The funniest thing, we were in Dallas at the Gas Monkey. I don't remember if it was rope or not, but my dad always said, he said, hey, when you get in the ring, remember you're being watched, constant movement, you know. And he's like, and when you're in the ring, you're an artist, and that's your instrument. When you get in there, don't be like those wrestlers to sit there, stretch, go check the turnbuckles, check the ropes, make sure everything's tight. And I was like, okay, that's good logic. So Ross and I would get in there. We're over there and we're checking the ropes, doing all this stuff. And I see Ross, he gets on the second turnbuckle and he's like jerking it, making sure it's solid. And he does this like butt stretch where he's going to try to touch his butt to the floor, to the mat. And go try that. I dare you. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Ross does this like lawn chair and he gets stuck. I was laughing so hard because there's no way out. You can't.
Yeah. I just committed. And then I was like, okay, there's no way back up. And my feet are like stuck on the second and I'm holding on to the third.
His own crotch was just close to his face. It was.
Yeah. I don't even know how you casually roll out of this and do a handstand. And I mean,
you got out.
People saw. I had to acknowledge it. Man.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
it happens, dude.
It's funny.
I'm gonna look for that. Your next match. We see. I'm gonna watch for the rope checks and
yeah.
We got to do our rope checks.
I don't do that move anymore.
You don't? Well, that's what I was hoping. It's like maybe after talking about this, you do it.
What's funny
is okay, I'll do it one more time just for you, Anthony.
Okay. I forced Ross to do a gainer. Because Ross is like Ross can do way more athletic like tricks than I can. I'm just dumb enough to try them. But Ross can do backflips and gainers and all that stuff. He was like a gymnast.
Yeah,
he can do a double backflip, double front flip. I can do a backflip. That's it. But we're in Japan. We had gotten invited back, and I was like, dude, you're busting out your gainer. And he's like, I don't know, man. I was like, yes, you are. He's like, and he was like, I just got like a little bit of doubt. And I was like, that's fear. That's the devil. Dude, Lord rebuke you, Satan. Come on, man. Trust God. Trust God. And he's like, all right. Because he can't say no to that.
Yeah.
So we're in the match, and I did
super jet lag too, by the way.
Some jet lag and food poisoning, but it wasn't at the peak yet. But I did my backflip, and then I look at Ross, and I'm like we're waiting so long for this. I was like, hit him with it, baby. And he looked, and he second guessed. And he's like, I don't know. And you can hear my voice in the video. Just do it. And Ross goes and does it. Scorpions. He does the scorpion. And so then we get in the back, and Ross was like, the scorpion splash was okay. You okay? Like Ross called it, like he meant to do it. I thought it was funny because it was obviously
he's like, Nick, okay. I was like, no, you okay? Me all the time, no problem. Yeah,
me finish. That's one of my go-tos. It's called the scorpion splash. Oh, you got to land just on your Adam's apple.
Yeah, just on it.
Yeah. How's that forehead bump I gave you to your chest? Yeah.
Man. And there's already a language barrier, so the Japanese did not think it was funny.
Oh.
Man.
Last
signs leading up to that.
So many good jokes got unheard from that language barrier.
I'm sure.
I know.
I'm sure. Speaking of language barrier, last summer AEW set up shop in Arlington in July. This is where the language barrier might come in. This year it's Chicago.
I was wondering where you're going with that transition. I was like, hey,
home base July 16th through the 31st, AEW at the Byline Bank Aragon Ballroom. That's a mouthful. That's why they're there for
there's language barrier.
Yeah, that's right. That was it. Sorry. That's why they're there for 2 weeks. Takes so long to say the name. Hosting 3 Dynamite shows, 3 collisions. Now, when they did it last July, there was a Ring of Honor PLE or pay-per-view in that spot in one of those shows, and that's where you guys won the 6-man. So don't see one in this. However, there is something coming up at the end of August, early September in Philly, where there is a Ring of Honor show. So looking forward to those. I think this right here, we mentioned this either last week or the week before. I think this is really brilliant of AEW is to set up shop in a big market and have multiple shows when and they look so good on TV too.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not selling out 20,000 seat arenas, don't go to 20,000 seat arenas and go to some places where you can, make the most of the money that you are spending. I think it's really smart. Whoever came up with that idea, that is a really good idea.
It's a good business move. Fans are happy and the wrestlers are happy. Just having something consistent is awesome, And like when we're going to Arlington, Ross and I found where we liked in the locker room. We found our spot. Everyone sticks to their spot. It was nice. It really was sick. Yeah, what's funny though is because that esports arena, it's for gamers.
Yes.
And what would you think the locker room was missing? It was a shower. They had plenty of Mountain Dew, plenty of pizza, no showers.
No shower. Well, that was going to lead into another joke that probably just get me in trouble. So I'll just leave that where it is.
Before the pod.
That's a before the pod comment. But I can imagine that you actually like if you could get used to what is in the hotel, where things are at the hotel that you're staying at. You don't live close. And just kind of get a little better feel of your surroundings. That's what is always weird to me. It's always especially on vacation. It's about, anything that's over 2 days. It takes me about 2 days to really get a feel of my surroundings. So you can set up shop in a place like that. You're like, I know a place I'm going to go for coffee. I know where we're going to have breakfast. I know we're going to have dinner. Heard about this other place. We can go over there. Yeah.
Dude, because you're dedicating more to yourself to your match. You're thinking, okay, focus on the match more so than like, where's my crap going to go? Is it going to go in my bag? Yeah.
I can imagine if that's your profession, and you have to travel around, getting a chance to stay in one place and not have to think about all those ancillary. Dude, it's got to be really cool.
So many of my dad's attributes make sense now. My dad has it's called his KVE bag, but it's a little bag that he carries around with him always. And he's just had it our whole lives. We'd always wondered why. And now living on the road all the time, you see exactly why. It's got all the necessities. For us, it's like charger, phone, wallet. If I want to go run to the gas station real quick, it's just my dad's got his nose spray, all that stuff. But my dad just makes more and more sense the more we wrestle.
That's cool. Yeah. How are we feeling about MJF now being a part of the Hurt Syndicate?
Man, I'm still waiting. When is he going to do it? Yeah. I just don't trust the guy.
That was actually going to be my. And who does he turn on? Does he turn on Bobby, since he was the guy that didn't originally give him the thumbs up?
I don't know, but he's turning Ross on. I'll tell you that much.
Oh man.
I'm
thinking. I think Bobby's the guy. It's going to be aimed at. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And let me ask you: does he take MVP with him?
Whoa. Yeah. See, that would be kind of cool if MVP was the turner all along and him and MJF had a little plan.
Right.
Man, that'd be interesting. Yeah. Who knows?
Is MVP in the group with initials?
That's a great that was a Marshall comment, dude. I can't believe that didn't sound right coming out of your mouth. Or something Marshall would have said.
MJP, MVF. Yeah. They'll do something cool with that.
Well, when was the last time MVP wrestled or had a match?
I saw something. Didn't he wrestle in AEW a good couple months ago?
I think he did. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to be wrong, but I think he did.
I think I remember. I didn't see wrestler. I remember hearing of it. Yeah, absolutely. Great wrestler.
He's super knowledgeable. I see. The reason I love talking to him too is he's got the MMA background. He's great at jiu-jitsu. I think he's got accolades and stuff. But yeah, he's one of those guys that if crap hits the fan, he's good. He can take care of himself.
Are you active in jiu-jitsu, Marshall?
No, I'm not. Yeah, Ross is.
Are you, Ross? I didn't realize that.
He does classes from time to time and stuff.
Yeah, I'll train here and there. Probably now I'm doing it probably maybe once a month or whatever. But yeah, I used to train 5 days a week, and it kind of dwindled down a little bit. But
yeah.
I'm more into energy karate. I'm trying to master the invisible ball thing where you make guys fall down by not touching them. But I'm paying my freaking sensei $300 a week, and he said I'm not there yet because I don't have enough faith. But
yeah, you just want to move stuff, or what's that one where you touch one, you just go like this, and 5 dudes fall.
You see that one? You see the one where they were having guys at the beach go full speed, and the sensei was just doing this, and the guys would fall down. So then they let the little guy go try, and he just gets mauled. I was like, what do you expect? Jeez.
That was you and Kip from Napoleon Dynamite there at
Yeah,
class
yeah.
together.
Yeah, those are all my students.
Dynamite and Collision are coming to Albuquerque this week. You got your plane tickets yet? You guys heading there?
We're starting our walk now.
We're on call right now, so
You're on call. I hear they have blue meth there. I don't know if you've heard about
is that right?
Ross
Marshall
Monroe.
might want to be checking that out. It seems like his style.
Blue meth. Man, I'm gonna stick to the white meth. I'm guessing that what color meth is. I don't know.
This Sunday's a big one. It's like the original, the OG pay-per-view for AEW. It is Double or Nothing, and it's coming to Glendale, Arizona. They're in the same parking lot as the Arizona Cardinals football team and big giant stadium. Owen Hart men's tournament final. Will Ospreay versus Hangman Adam Page. Predictions. Who you guys think is going to walk away from this with that trophy this year?
Yeesh, man, that's a toughie.
I think Adam Page, he needs to get some victory soon. I don't know. I think Adam Page. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Adam.
I'm gonna say Ospreay, but you know, I'm kind of a fan, so
I'm thinking one of you is right. Mercedes versus Jamie Hayter, the women's tournament finals. I know that Mercedes Moné, she just lost one of the titles that she had. Do you see her kind of replacing that with this trophy?
Was that her first loss in AEW?
It wasn't in AEW. It was in New Japan.
That's right.
It wasn't New Japan either. It was whatever. It was. I mean, she had like 4 or 5 titles with her all the time.
Well, I mean, was that her first loss since she's been in AEW?
I think so. I think it's because she was gathering all these titles, and I think that's the first one that she's done.
yeah, she didn't lose much, basically. Yeah,
very true, and hasn't lost at all in AEW. So, what are you thinking on this one, or against Jamie Hayter? Should be a good match.
Man, I would just have to play the odds game, and I'm gonna say
Moné's back.
Moné. Yeah,
Timeless Tony Storm, women's world champion, versus Mina Shirakawa. I probably butchered that name. I'm sorry.
sounded pretty good actually. Not too bad.
Okay, Shirakawa.
I'm gonna say Tones.
Ask Justin Roberts how to say it. I'll try that next week. But that should be a great match. I see Tony hanging on to this, especially since we're getting a preview of Tony versus Mercedes heading into All In Texas.
That's fun, man. I feel like that's a really fun match.
Yeah. Man, that's exciting. Man, there's some good matchups coming.
There's only 2 left that have been announced as of right now, and the next one is a stretcher match with Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet.
Oh
shoot! What?
Action packed, man. It's gonna be fun to watch too.
Certain that Briscoe's face is there's gonna be a bloody picture of Briscoe on my social media the next day.
Of course, there is. Sure. Same day.
Yeah, same day.
And I like this too. Nigel McGuinness getting back in the ring, teaming up with Daniel Garcia, taking on FTR. That's the last match they have announced so far.
Nigel's awesome, dude. I like him. Yeah. And then this isn't at All In, but and I could be wrong because I should know this, but Dustin and Sammy, are they going for the AEW tag belt?
Like I said, this has been announced so far. So this is this Sunday at Double or Nothing. So that could still be announced. I mean, maybe that's announced coming up tomorrow night on Dynamite.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I thought I heard what I don't want to be wrong is Sammy actually. I don't want Sammy have told me that, and I'm saying it now. But I thought I saw it. But I guess we're going to find out.
That's right. You know what? This podcast needs a little controversy. So
yeah, exactly.
Get people talking about it. So go ahead and feed us some stuff that we're not supposed to know there, Mark.
Yeah. Or I'm just going to start making up rumors.
Yeah, do that. I like that too.
Yeah, cool.
That's all fun.
Yeah, we'll make up 3 rumors from now on, and then everyone can choose to see which is real and which is fake. So
if you guys end up going to Albuquerque this weekend, Marshall, I'd just like for you to, anytime you meet someone, just say, "How you doing? I'm Heisenberg," and see if anybody really notices.
Heck yeah, dude. Wait, that was on a text. What was the text we had? We had a text. I'm not gonna say it. Never shoot.
Well, here's the deal. Here's what's good. Those of you that are watching or listening right now, we're all on the outside of this inside joke. The only one inside of it, Marshall.
And I'm not even in there, guys.
Yeah. Explain that.
Can't wait to hear what happens this weekend. Looking forward to all out, Double or Nothing this weekend. And Memorial Day weekend. shout out to, of course, those who serve, but more importantly, those who gave their life to protect this country. That's what this coming weekend. And, next Monday, podcast comes out on Tuesday, but next Monday we'll have just celebrated Memorial Day weekend. And I always feel weird saying celebrate, but I think remembering people who sacrificed everything is something to celebrate, or it just ends up being in vain so much. So those who gave it all, you have our attention, you have our hearts, and you have our deepest thanks for what you did. And thank you just never seems like enough. And
amen, dude. Well,
it's not about a hot dog or hamburger grill or cold beer, but it's about, or a 3-day weekend. It's about what the sacrifice.
So being able to have the freedom to do that. Exactly.
Yeah. 100%. Dude, 100%. We were my wife and I were talking about that, because I felt weird that I was like, man, I was 18 years old and I was in the car leaving football practice, and I was listening to national anthem, just blasting the national anthem on the way home. And I was getting emotional, and I was like, man, is this normal? But it feels good to be patriotic, man, to love your country, and to know that there's men out there that will give their prime of their life, their 20s, they'll give it to the country so that you can celebrate your freedom, and amen. God bless our troops. God bless America, baby.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us this week. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment. This was a roller coaster episode. So it was all over the place. But your thoughts on what's coming up on Double or Nothing this weekend, and we'll talk about it next week here on the Claw Pod. Guys, good to see you too. We'll see y'all next week.